Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Time to Toss the Dice. We will be discussing The Wheel of Time and the differences between the book series and the Amazon series. As always, I'm Will,
Lindsay,
and we'll get right into it.
we are on episode 3, season 1, episode 3.
Yep.
Um, again, spoilers. For anybody who doesn't want book spoilers, there will be book spoilers
Yep.
more than likely. It's just a thing we do. I think that's it.
Yep.
Do you want to? I kind of want to start with the Nynaeve.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go
We can just go through
chronologically.
the whole
We can
Nynaeve
just we can just go
storyline, starting
storyline
with
by storyline.
because she's the cold open. Um, so she gets dragged. Obviously, we've thought that she was dead up until this point. I don't know necessarily why they chose to do that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we lose her in
Um,
episode 1. She gets taken by a Trolloc and she's presumed dead.
yeah, and then she ends up killing this Trolloc, which I mean, go Nynaeve, but also no.
Right.
Just
A whole lot of
no.
no. A whole
Yeah.
lot of no.
That said, it doesn't really have any ramifications for future storylines or anything. It's just not something.
Again, it's just shit that Amazon added in for the sake of
Yeah.
adding it in. Changes for the
Um,
sake of changes.
Yep, I do like her when she meets up with Lan and Moraine. Um, she tells Lan that she tracked them, which is actually book accurate. Um, she tries to kill Lan, which is hilarious and not
Incredibly stupid.
incredibly stupid. Yes, I'm not gonna say that it didn't happen in the books, but it's not completely unnaive. I could see her in a different world, different story, t- potentially having tried to kill Lan. So,
We got it in a different world, in a different story.
yes. Um he ties her up. I think it's a kind of a fun start to their relationship.
An
I
interesting
think.
start, to say the least.
Yes. A relationship that's going to go places, hopefully, if they do the things they're supposed to do. Anyways. Um what else? What's after that? Okay. So
We'll
Lan,
just stay with that whole storyline and just
yeah,
talk about it all the
yeah,
way through. I don't see
Lan.
any point in going chronologically. We'll just go storyline by storyline. So we got
That's
Nynaeve caught up with Landon Moraine.
yep. Lan convinces Nynaeve to do magical Healy wisdom stuff on Moraine,
Hmm.
which I like. It is what she does. It is things she does. I'm still not sure why the decision was made to give Moraine an injury like that, but
And it's an injury. Yes, Nynaeve, even with her disdain for what Moraine is and what Lan is and what she perceives they're trying to do to the people of the Two Rivers, like taking Egwene and Rand and all them away. Like, Nynaeve holds disdain for them for that. But at the same time, when she sees somebody injured like that, like, it's her natural instinct to heal that person. So,
to help. Yeah. Even
so
if it's a even
even
if
if
it's
it's
a
somebody she absolutely despises. Now,
I'm gonna make you better so you can tell me what I want, and if you don't, then I'm gonna kill you.
so I can absolutely see her healing Moraine or attempting to heal Moraine. The only
Attempting,
issue
yes.
I have with this is, never mind. I'll leave it. It's fine.
What?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
That's 100% something Nynaeve would do. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with that.
And we get good progress with the like I said, the Nynaeve Lan storyline, which is going to go throughout the entire series. Um, I like how they've started setting it up and given them sort of a no. Why are you
Way
shaking your head?
way too early.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
not a fan.
This stuff shows up in like the first quarter of book 1.
Not to this extent. Like, Lan is still in the books. The way Lan is
He's
portrayed,
impressed with her in the books.
he's impressed, but he's not like googly-eyed in love with her.
Well, he's not in the show either. Not yet.
They might as well have fucked in this episode.
No.
Like,
You're thinking of the next episode.
no, I'm not. Uh, the the Lan that we get in this in the Amazon series is so
Emotional?
frustrating. It pisses me off because it is not the Lan that's written on the pages wrote by fucking Robert Jordan. Like,
Right.
he is a hard man. Like, he is just filled with anger and hatred for the Shadow. Like, that's what drives
Mm-hmm.
him. That's why he's alive. Like, is to kill the Shadow. Like, in his heart and in his soul, that's what he fucking believes, that he is alive to attack the Shadow. There's no other reason for his existence. And like, he's not a mean person, but he's a hard man.
Yeah.
And the Lan we get from Amazon is just a fucking emo girl.
He's not that bad. He is in later episodes, but he's not that bad in this episode.
I'm not necessarily talking about this episode. I'm just talking about like the emotion and everything that he shows pisses me off so
Oh
much
yeah.
because Lan doesn't show emotion. Like, I, I can't remember what book or exactly what it was, but I think it was Rand, from Rand's perspective in one of the books. So they were talking about Lan, and Lan actually did smile or grin or crack a joke or something like that. And Rand even makes reference like, can Stone smile? Like, because it's not something
Yeah.
that happens. Like, he
Right.
shows no emotion. He is very straightforward, very focused, and very hard all the time. So this whole fucking scale of emotion and everything that we get from Lan is just utterly infuriating.
It is. Or it can be. It is not for me in this particular episode, but it is a little bit later in the season. I do think something that's really interesting as I was rewatching this episode, specifically the interactions with Nynaeve, Lan, and Moraine, is they spent a lot of time in this season emphasizing the relationship that exists between a warder and her Aes Sedai and how strong of a bond that is. And then in season 2,
They
they
just
just
completely
like
disregard it.
they completely swept it under the rug. Like the link that you have to that person isn't just, yes, the actual connection through the bond is part of it, but when you've been with somebody for 20 years doing this cause to find the dragon, just because that bond is severed doesn't mean your relationship with that person is over. Like, and it just,
Yeah, the way they
it's
have,
so weird to me that they spent so much effort on it in this season, and then in season 2 we're just like, oh, never mind.
yep, yeah, she just completely disregards
I
the
know.
bond itself and the
Well, which I guess was gone, but that doesn't
that still
that doesn't mean.
isn't even in the realm of possibility of being
I know,
capable of happening the way it turns
but
out.
it's the
That
bond
was the
being
fucking stupidest thing.
gone doesn't excuse her treating that land that way, because regardless of the bond, they've spent the last 20 years together.
But the bond was should have never technically been gone because she was never.
I know. I realize that. I'm ignoring that for a moment.
I no, I can't ignore stupidity.
Anyway, so yeah, so Lan leads them around, yada yada. They end up meeting up with Leandrin, who is leading the way for the party of Aes Sedai, who are transporting Logain, and that's that entire storyline during this episode. It was
Which
okay.
most of the storyline is, again, just made up Amazon bullshit that never happened in the books. I mean, in the books we do get Nynaeve with Lan and Moraine. That's the only part of this that's accurate
This
to
is
the
true.
books. The only part of it that's accurate to the books.
Well, and that she tracked them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, Nynaeve finding them, like tracking Lan, finding those two, is the only part that's accurate. And then obviously, their party of two becomes a party of three. Leandrin, the rest of the Reds and the Greens and the Warders and Logain, none of that is.
I know that's the next episode though.
Well, they meet him in this one.
For like 30 seconds.
I'm saying none of that. Yeah, the entire next episode is just absolute fucking made up bullshit. Um, but even at this point, like they never encounter Wild Aes
Yes.
Sedai wandering through the fucking woods. Like
Terrible.
I was waiting for Lane to throw a fucking Pokeball and catch one. Like it's so stupid. Like
I thought that the setup for the relationship between Leon and Nynaeve was nice.
I hate it.
Well, they did a better. Okay, they did a better job than Robert Jordan. Okay.
I had no problem with their relationship, and like you could see, I like the way Robert Jordan did it. Was it perfect? No, I'm not saying it was perfect,
He was
you
terrible at
but
relationships.
you could feel that there was something there between the two of them. You could kind of sense it
Yeah,
and feel it building along the way. It's not just a
it was
fucking
so subtle though.
warder. Yes, as it should be. Like this, it's supposed to be like a subtle undertone. Like it's not the main reason for the book, which is Amazon is putting all this shit as the love and everything. The love stories are foremost, should be the foremost thing, and that's not it. Just like
Yeah,
I fucking hate what they did with Egwene and Rand as well.
yeah, I know you
Absolute bullshit. It's stupid. There's no reason for it. Stop. Get some
do.
help.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to episode 7 and 8, where Perrin apparently is also in love with Egwene.
Oh fuck it.
Anyway, moving
That one
on.
I can actually excuse a little bit better because I don't think Perrin's in love with Egwene. He's just protective.
We'll see. So I'm gonna move on to the Egwene and Perrin storyline.
Hmm.
They get
There's more wolves.
there's more wolves. Egwene lights a
There's more
fire.
what?
There's more wolves. Shut up. Shut enough. Egwene lights a fire. Or at least they think that she lights a fire, which is fine. It's mostly book accurate. The wolves do not chase them in the books. In the books, they meet up with Elias, who we don't get until season 2. But the wolves here chase them in a horrible chase scene that's awful. They're in the Carolyn grass, which is a giant plain of grass, and then all of a sudden they're in this thicket, running through this thicket that is in neither the shots before or the shots after the chase. And it's just the filming is not put together super great. I've mostly gotten over it. But anyway, they get pushed towards the Tinkers, and they get welcomed by the Tinkers. Obviously, Elias is not there to tell them about the welcoming ritual for the Tuathan, which actually I think makes the whole welcoming ritual kind of hilarious. Where Aram has to like tell them what to say, and then at the end, Isla finishes it up and kind of gives a little eye roll, like, I can't believe I have to do this. They obviously have no idea what's going on.
Right.
They're cold and they're hungry, and I just want to give them food. Um, which is very her.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we don't get a whole lot of them with the Tinkers. They obviously give them some food. They
There's some
introduce themselves
dancing.
as the Tinkers. They don't do that until the next episode.
Is it
I
the
think
next
all
one?
we get is them just getting some food.
Okay.
We get the introduction to the Tinkers. Um,
The biggest issue I have with this storyline is obviously with the lack of Elias. Elias is very key to Perrin's character development that we get early on in book one.
it is, and
Like, because he's the one that explains, why there's all these wolves, why the wolves that are chasing you aren't trying to hurt you. Like, you're not gonna outrun wolves. Like if you can see the wolves and you think they're chasing you,
You're
if
not gonna outrun them unless they want you to outrun them, which
yeah.
is accurate in
S-
this case.
So I mean, the wolves were more hurting them than chasing them. Now, obviously,
Yes.
from their perspective, they feel like they're being chased by wolves.
Well, Egwene actually makes a comment like I feel like the wolves were making us go a certain way on purpose.
Yeah. So I mean, the wolves
Um,
were hurting them to more people because that's what they needed. Elaine and Perrin, or I'm sorry, Egwene and Perrin needed to be not alone in the fucking woods by themselves and no way to survive. Like,
yeah, because they were probably gonna
yeah.
die.
But
So
in the books, we have Elias there, and Perrin and Egwene encounter Elias, and he has a fire and making food and all this stuff, and
they get a
tells
lot of rabbit.
tells Perrin like you and I are the same. Like we can both speak with wolves. That's why they're here. That's why you can sense them and blah blah blah. Like, and that starts Perrin's character development. Like we don't get that here. We just get some weird foreboding images
Wolf
of
chase
wolves like hanging around without any concept or
justification.
realization of why they're there. Like they're just
Right.
there. We don't know if they're
Well, the
from the
one did
shadow.
lick Perrin's wounded leg in the last episode that never gets
Apparently,
mentioned
apparently,
again.
fucking magically,
Yeah, yeah. I guess
that wolf
Hopper
was
saliva.
that wolf was the creator. Um,
um, I I did miss Elias in this sequence and in this whole set of scenes. But at the same time, I can see why they left him until season 2 because getting Elias with them all the way to well Tarvalon in this case, and to Faldara and keeping him in the story would have been difficult the
but
way
they
that
don't,
they
but
did
they
the
don't
story.
have to because he's not. Like even in the books, he's not.
Well, right, he could have just said, "Y'all need help. I'm gonna drop you off with these folks who are friendly, and I'm gonna skedaddle."
And that's what he does because he's more one with the wolves than
Right.
he is with people at this point. Now he doesn't believe he's a wolf or anything like that, but he chooses to
Hang out with them.
essentially just camp out in the woods all the time, hunt with the wolves, and just he's not a people person anymore. He's
Mm-mm. No, but he does actually stay with them through their time with the Tinkers and past it in the books.
yeah.
So, but they didn't have to keep him there that long. They could have done a Tom sort of thing where he was there for an episode or two, episode and a half, just to give us something.
See, and
But then in the books, he's in Feldara, and so, no, he's not.
no,
No, he's not in Feldara.
no, he
So
doesn't
yeah,
even
I mean,
make
it
it.
would have been perfectly fine.
He doesn't even make it to Camelin.
Mm-mm.
Like he's literally just there for the start of them being with the Tinkers. He's not even there when like
Yeah, because
they
they
leave the
after they leave the
Tinkers.
Tinkers is when they get chased by the Ravens.
Yeah, like he doesn't even make it the full time there. I think he has like maybe one meal with them, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out
No,
now."
he's there for like the whole time there with the Tinkers.
He's not.
Yeah, he is because I just read it.
He's not there the whole time. Like he's not.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think so.
Mhm.
I
He's
don't
there
think
the whole time. But anyway, they could have done that in the show.
See, so
Um,
so then we end up getting Elias for the overwhelming majority of season 2, which
right.
in book 2 there is no Elias.
Yes, this is true.
And instead, like we get Tom for 2 episodes, who is in every fucking book of the series, and we've
He's
gotten
in
him.
book 2.
Yes, he's in
I didn't think he
every
came
one
back
of them.
until book 3.
Like, even if not, we've gotten him for 2 episodes on a character that is there for the entire
I
story.
know.
That
It
is
is
a
accurate.
pretty
I mean, they did think that he died, okay? Anyway,
for a
uh
day or two.
do we want to move on to Rand, Matt, and Tom?
Yeah, the brief little thing we get of Tom.
Yes. So Matt and Rand end up together following Shadar Logoth. Their banter climbing up the mountain is hilarious. I love it. It's very Rand and Matt. It was written well. Um, I'm starting to wonder if the Aiel in the cage in Breen Spring is, like, supposed to be Gaul
I'll be
because we
fucking
didn't get him
pissed.
in episode 2
I'll be
or season 2.
fucking pissed.
Yeah, I know. I would be too. But anyway, they come across an Aiel in a cage. They go on to Breen Spring, where there is a nod to Four Kings because that's the name of the inn. Um, Four Kings is where they went in the books along with Baerlon. No, they went Four Kings and then to Camelin.
Yeah,
Um,
it was Baerlon, Whitebridge, Four Kings,
right, but they did
Camelin, I believe.
Baerlon with Moraine.
Yes.
So they did Whitebridge with Tom. Anyway, moving on.
Because Baerlon is where we would originally meet Min.
Yes. We meet a Gleeman who is new in town. His name is Tom. He is a character that appears throughout the entire book series.
Mm-hmm.
He has a interesting song that he sings that the boys hear that is very much about the dragon and holds a fair amount of foreshadowing for anybody who is either paying attention or has read the books. um, I don't know. Do you want to talk about the song?
No.
No. They meet the barmaid. Her name is Dana. They work for some food
In a room.
and a room, place to stay. Dana accuses them of being gay, which is hilarious.
Yes.
um, and when you come to find out that Dana is a dark friend, and Matt. So before we do that, Matt
Matt
doesn't want to
starts
help
to
Rand chop wood,
Matt starts
and
to be
they
acting
get
a
into a
little
little
bit
bit of a fight.
differently.
Yes. They get into a little bit of a fight. Here's the interesting thing though, is Rand actually says, "Go on, do the same thing you always do." So this is actually implying, and I don't know if it was just written poorly or what, that Matt is always trying to get out of work, not necessarily that Matt is behaving differently because he has a little trinket in his pocket that's slowly corrupting his brain. I don't know.
I could see Matt and the Two Rivers doing whatever he could to get out of work.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know.
I don't either. Matt also goes off to, well, Rand is talking to Dana. Matt is off with Tom. Oh, Tom steals from Matt. He steals
Fucking
Matt's
hate it.
coin purse. And it's interesting. Tom says it's to teach them a lesson, um, to guard their money better, which is probably a good lesson for them, but not something that Tom would do. He doesn't need to, for starters. A Gleeman can walk into an inn, especially one of Tom's caliber, could walk in anywhere and get free food, a room in the inn, probably the best, one of the best rooms in an inn, more food, drink, breakfast in the morning. Like, they don't want for a whole lot.
No.
There's no need for him to steal Matt's money.
Now most Gleemen aren't gonna be wealthy or well off or anything like that, but they're never gonna want for anything. They're always gonna be able to have a roof
Exactly.
over their head and food in their belly.
Yes. They're wanderers.
Hmm.
They travel, they're travelers. They travel from town to town and they aren't horribly wealthy, but again, they don't want for anything. So, um for him to steal Matt's money is a little bit, I would say, out of character, not just for Tom, but for any Gleeman.
But specifically for Tom.
Yes.
So I know we've talked about this, but I have a huge issue with the Tom character in the show as opposed to the books. Like in the books, we get Tom very early on in book one.
Yep.
He's in the Two Rivers when Rand and Tam Althor get to town. I believe the Gleeman's already there at the end because people are
Mhm.
talking about it.
Yep.
So and it's a big deal. Like they're gonna have a Gleeman for Beltane. This never happens. This is most of these kids have never seen a Gleeman before. Like everybody's super excited that there's a Gleeman there. It's a huge deal,
Mhm.
and they meet him obviously when shit goes down in the Two Rivers, he leaves with them and everything. Like, it's that there's more of a bond. Like when they leave Shadar Logoth and everything, like I believe Tom is with them in the books.
Um,
Like I think it's the three of them, and he teaches them to juggle and
yes.
to
Hmm.
play the flute and all this
Yeah, because they
stuff.
spend time on Bail Doman's boat.
Yep, and he tells them, you're gonna have to play for your food. Like he's teaching them kind of the way of the Gleeman, like that this is how you survive when you have no money. So
Yep.
they would go town to town, and they posed as his assistants or whatever when they
His
would stop in.
apprentices.
Yeah, yeah, apprentice, not assistants, but they were his apprentices when they would go to these towns and these inns so that they could eat and they could have rooms and all this stuff, and he was kind of teaching them his way.
Yep.
So
And
we
even that on the boat is where we really start to see.
Mhm.
First, it's when we learn that Matt has the dagger,
Right.
but we also start to see his personality start to change because um Tom is trying to teach them, A, to keep up appearances while they're on the boat because the story is that they're apprentices. But also, just like you said, so that if something happens and they're not with Tom and they need a roof over their head, they can go to any inn in a city and, unless it's already got a gleeman,
Hmm.
perform for food and a roof. Um, and it is interesting to me that they took out some of that, a lot of that whole learn to play for your food
It took out all of
storyline,
it
especially later in season 1 where they basically just skip ahead, what is it, like 3 or 6 months or something like that, and it's like, okay, so how on earth did these two boys from the backwater middle of nowhere
with no money
make it, with no money, make it 5 months across the continent by themselves
on foot.
on foot? um
And
and
look,
even that,
absolutely no worse for the wear at the end of it.
I know. And the interesting thing is what the boys learn from Tom in this first book, they actually use throughout the rest of the series.
Hmm.
There's comments about it in books 13 and 14.
Hmm.
Maybe not 14, 12 and 13. Where they see a flute or they, whatever it is. Um I don't know. We lost all of that, which is kind of sad.
It's not kind of sad. It's disgustingly horrible. Like Tom he is a main character. He's not one of the like five main characters, but Tom is a main character
Right.
in the
He's
Wheel
up
of
there
Time.
with Moraine and Lan and
Absolutely.
yeah.
I would say ahead of Moraine. I would put him on
Wow.
par with
Yeah, but
Lan.
we don't need to get into why
No,
about
no, no.
that.
I'm not gonna say why. I'm saying I would put him on par with Lan throughout the entirety of
Mhm.
the book
Yeah,
series.
I would too. He's very much a mentor character to the boys when Moraine can't
Matter
be.
of fact, when we get to like the last three books, I would put him ahead of Lan.
Mm, yeah, specifically for Towers of Midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's there from the beginning to the end. Like,
Hmm.
and we get him for
He keeps Matt out of a lot of trouble.
a lot
A
of
lot of
trouble.
trouble.
He we get him for one episode through
Yeah,
2 seasons.
1.5.
Like that's
He'll come back. I know they got to bring him back. Um,
they have to, because I mean, why the fuck would you cast somebody to
why would
play
you even bother
somebody for
introducing him in the first place if you're not going to bring him back?
right? Like you could have
Oh,
just
yeah,
had a
spoilers,
random
by the
fucking
way.
Gleeman.
Tom's not dead.
Like I guess
um,
we kind of spoiled that already earlier when he said he's
yeah.
there in book 14.
He's there for the last battle, guys.
Yes.
Um,
But yes, that's I just have huge issues with this entire storyline. From the time they leave, from the time they're in Shadar Logoth until
They meet back up in Tarvalon.
I have issue with that too, because they don't fucking meet back up in Tarvalon.
Moving on. Tom
Eh,
and Matt do take the Aiel down. Tom was gonna bury him.
mhm.
Tom gives Matt a little lesson about Aiel, which is nice.
Yep,
A little better setup for the next season.
shows him the black veil.
Yep. Matt steals from the dead guy. Not sure what he thinks he's gonna do with that stone because it honestly doesn't look that valuable to me.
Yeah, he had kind of a shiny stone on him,
Yeah,
and
but I mean, honestly, I think if it was really that valuable, they would have taken it from him when they put him up there.
no, right? I know. I'm just saying. So they go to bury him, and Matt notices this like shiny stone on the guy, and obviously our experience in Shadar Logoth, if Matt sees something fucking shiny, he wants to take it.
He wants it, yeah.
So he sees a shiny stone. Uh,
He does take it.
Tom is there, and he can see in his eyes that he's gonna take it or whatever, and kind of
Oh no, Matt tells him straight up, I was gonna rob the body.
yeah, and Tom just looks the other way, like literally looks
Yeah.
the other way.
Yeah. But then he says, if you're gonna rob from the dead, you better bury him.
Yeah, you can at least
So he
bury him.
does. He does
And
help Tom bury him. They exchange names. Tom finds out that Matt stole his coin purse back. Which I think is kind of funny. Not really Tom or Matt again, but still kind of funny.
no, that'd 100% be Matt, but Tom would have never taken it to
No,
begin
Matt
with.
wouldn't steal.
Matt would
He'd
100% steal it
steal from
back.
people. Well, he'd steal his own money
Yeah,
back.
he would 100% steal his own coin purse back.
Yeah,
Fucking 1,000 times out of 100.
that's true. He would. Um, so they build a little bit of rapport. We learn a little bit about Tom, and they go back to the inn where Matt or Rand has been hanging out with Dana in this wood shack thing, barn, something. I don't really know what to
Shed
call
type
it.
thing.
Shed type thing that's got a bed in it. 2 beds in it, actually. um, she locks him in there. The door is made of ironwood. It can't be broken down by 3 men. She reveals that she not only knows his name and Matt's name, but also knows Egwene's name, and that she's kind of a dark friend. And there's along the road, the boys actually do meet a good host of dark friends, trying to kill them as they make their way to Camelin in the books and past Camelin even. Um, I think Dana, while she wasn't in the books, I think she provides a decent substitute. Her motivations, her storyline, the way that they portrayed her, I think is really nice. And it's also one of those anybody can be a dark friend, which ups the stakes a little bit. Like this sweet um, barmaid who helps them out and gives them food and needs help and is drowning, is a dark friend.
Hmm.
Rand breaks down the door. Wonder how he did that. They run. Dana makes a really nice line that you can't outrun a fade, which I liked.
Hmm.
I liked that line a lot. And then gets a dagger through the neck. And that's the end of that. Tom's
Yep.
like, let's go. There's a fade following you. We need to go now.
We need to be anywhere that's not here.
Yesterday, 10 minutes ago. Which does give us a little bit of Tom has a lot of motivations for why he wants to in the books as well, for why he wants to stay around the boys and hang out with the boys and do what it is that he does. And there's a lot of mystery in that in the books too. So him wanting to help the boys being why the heck does this random gleeman want to help these idiots, right? Doesn't It's not odd because in the books there is a lot of mystery around why Tom does what he does, and we don't learn that until some of it until much later in the series. So
Some of it is still just theory. Like
yes.
it's never said specifically why. It's theorized that
Yep.
well he did this because yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if any of that was ever confirmed or not.
I know there's lots of theories about Tom.
And who he is and who he might be related to.
Right, exactly.
um yeah, but
He could have very, very powerful family.
I mean, she kind of hates him though.
No.
No, not her. The other her.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That's inconsequential at this point. At the end of the
That's
book
true.
series, it's
Because he
inconsequential.
yeah, no, you're right. And she
No,
yeah.
not because he, but because she.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot to say for this episode. I actually on this is probably the fourth time I've watched this episode, and on the rewatch, I do find that this particular episode I enjoy. It does deviate from the books, but it is very close to them. And it hits. Don't look at me like that. It hits a lot of points
The only thing
that
they
the book
got
hits.
right is Nynaeve tracked land and Perrin and Egwene met the Tinkers. That's the only thing they got right from the books.
Well, and Matt and Rand met Tom, and they
No,
learned
that's
that
not
dark friends
accurate
are
to
everywhere.
that's not accurate to the books.
Right, but they did meet him at least.
Yeah, which should have been done like before
uh,
they left Evansfield. So I will not say that this is accurate. Yet there are dark friends everywhere. They do meet tons of dark friends along the way. I don't have an issue with Dana being a dark friend and us getting introduced to the concept of they can be anywhere, they can be anyone, because that is a running theme throughout all the books.
it
All
is
the way up through the end of book 14, we're discovering people that we've known for however long.
for the entire series in some cases,
And
because we meet Algamar in book one.
yeah,
Can
and
be influenced by the shadow.
yeah, so no, I'm not talking about.
I said influenced.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not talking about that. I know what you're referring to. But
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that are actually dark friends.
Oh. Yeah, that too.
So I mean, there's people that we've known, maybe not necessarily from the beginning of the series, but for an
Very long time.
overwhelming majority of the series that we find out in books 13 and books 14 are dark friends and have been dark friends for the entire series.
Hmm. And we didn't know.
Yeah, and every one of them is a what? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
most
know,
of them.
right?
Now there are obviously your obvious ones like Leandrin. There's never been a question from the
Well,
first
yeah.
time you even interact with Leandrin in the books. You know that this is
Like, oh, she's
this is an
not
evil
okay.
bitch. This is an
Yeah.
evil bitch.
Well,
So
she is a red. I mean, par for the course.
you know we don't know exactly what Padan Fane is when we first start encountering him throughout book one, but we
Yeah.
know he ain't good.
Wow. Not by the end of book one, at least. We know he's not
Yeah, when we
good.
first encounter him, it's all well and good, and then questions start coming up and shit starts getting weird and crazy, and by the end we're like,
Mhm.
y'all might want to stay away from him. But
He's special though. He's not just
he's a special kind of
um
special.
he's special. He's very special.
But yeah, so
Um
I don't mind that lesson and that introduction to Dark Friends can be anyone and be anywhere. Don't mind that, but no, I am not going to say that this episode was accurate to the books because there are two small snippets that are, and
I
the rest
think
of it
it's
is just
I
bullshit.
think it's as accurate as they can make it in terms of
If they
putting
didn't
characters where they're supposed to
if they
be
didn't
and
fuck it up
moving
from
the
the
story in
beginning,
the direction
if they
it's
didn't
supposed to go
if they don't
in the
send it,
time restrictions that they have.
they never send it in the direction it's supposed to go in.
Right, but they just don't have the episode time to stick the boys on a freaking boat.
How about you get rid of an episode of Logain? That never happened.
I
You
mean,
can
you
get time
could,
right
but
there.
the Logain
Or
episode is good television.
Or running into White Cloaks on the road that never happened. Or running into a fucking wild Aes Sedai wandering through the fucking forest that never happened. I mean, there's all sorts of shit you can take out.
What? The Logain episode is a good episode.
Disagree entirely.
It's good television.
With my whole fucking being, I disagree.
I know it's not from the books. It doesn't change the fact that it's good television.
With my whole being, I hated that episode and everything that it stood for.
And with that, we're going to have fun next episode because I think that's the next episode that we're going to talk about, which deviates greatly from the books and does potentially have ramifications for later on
Spoiler
in the
alert,
story that they're
it
trying
didn't
to
fucking happen in the books.
Well,
100% of the next episode is purely made up bullshit.
it's not made up.
It is. 100% yes.
There was a group of Aes Sedai transporting Logain to the White Tower, so it's not completely made up. It just wasn't on screen in the books.
Yeah, and they stopped and had a little fucking tea party with Lan and Moraine and Nynaeve. That's what I thought.
Well,
that's what I thought.
Anyway.
The answer is no. No, they did not. Nynaeve and Lan and Moraine had more important shit to do than stop and
like protecting Rand, finding Rand,
stop and fucking drink tea with Logain. Make up some bullshit about fucking Nynaeve being the fucking Dragon Reborn and all sorts of other silly, stupid, ridiculous
Dana does
bullshit.
Say that. She's like, he told me about the 5 of you, and I'm like, 5 of you? Does the Dark One honestly believe that Nynaeve is in the running?
According to the Amazon series, yes, like they made that clear from.
She's too old.
Moraine's like fucking no, she's the same age. They're all exactly
Nynaeve
the same
is
age.
not the same age. She's like 7 years older than them.
I know, but that's why I'm saying that why it's fucking ridiculous.
But even Moraine says she's too old.
Well, then why'd Moraine say there's 5 fucking ta'veren in the 2 rivers?
She said 4.
No.
She said 4.
You're right, she did. But still, there's not 4 of them either.
No, there's not. But
pretty sure she said 5 though.
Nynaeve's strength and the power does not automatically put her in the running to beat the freaking dragon. I am sorry.
I don't think she would be on the same power level as Logain.
I don't believe she is either, but that's just because men are stronger in the power.
Right, but I'm saying that there are strong female that are going to be stronger than most males. But a strong
Yeah, there's like 2.
But a strong male is going to have far greater power in the power than a female does.
Yes.
But yeah, so with Nynaeve's strength and Egwene's strength and probably even Elaine's strength, like they are going to be stronger than
most Aes Sedai, but not everybody.
A great portion of male channelers, but not when you start getting into the strong ones. Like they're not going to rival
like the Forsaken.
They're not going to rival any of the male Forsaken or Rand or Logain or anyone on that level. So that's another reason why the next episode is bullshit.
I'm looking. Hold on. Oh, whoops. Apparently I'm now between the ages of 13 and 15 years old. Whoops. It had a pop-up and I just hit yes. So according to the strength chart that can be found on Tor.com, Tor is the publisher of the Wheel of Time. For women, Nynaeve is in 3rd place behind of the characters we know. Lanfear, Semirhage, Mesaana, Grendel, and that's all the ones that we currently know to stay away from spoilers. There's more than that. They just haven't been introduced yet.
Are they also Forsaken?
One of them is. One of them is not. I'll send you the link later. Or I'll send it to you right now. No.
Oh.
The Damane.
Oh.
Yeah. And then for men, they do this on a 100-point scale. Or an 800-point scale. I'm not really sure. Oh, that's life expectancy. They do it on a yeah. So Nynaeve is a 3 on current strength level, and an old strength level. She's +10. Rand is a ++1, so he's like 5 points ahead of Nynaeve. And he is up there with characters who I'm not going to mention because they haven't been introduced in the show. The next one that we know is Logain, who is a ++2, so he's 4 points above Nynaeve.
Right.
How's your bathroom looking down here?
Good.
Yep.
Okay. 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 That all checks out.
Yeah. I just didn't want to say the names because it's
Yeah, no, I
weird.
know. That's why I was looking.
Yep. So anyway, Nynaeve is still, by and large, a fair bit weaker in the power than both Rand and Logain, which is going to bring in an interesting conversation when we get to the next episode.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else for today, though. Do you?
No. I was just looking at that. I thought it was interesting. They also had a life expectancy thing there based off of
They
their
do.
channeling power.
I think it is actually linked. But that's, of course, if you discount the effects of the Oath Rod.
If a female channeler can form a gateway, then they are guaranteed a life expectancy of 550 years.
Cool.
They take care of themselves. Oh, and they don't swear the oaths.
Yep. And they don't swear the oaths. But that's getting into a lot of spoilers that we don't need to talk about.
No,
So,
no, I was just reading that. But no,
yeah.
I don't have anything else.
All right.
It was
Well, we will. Are we going to be here next Saturday?
should. I think